Oh, don't stare. How would you look after eons in some ghastly crypt? Your people are rather prone to death. Mine are not. Yet when I emerged from my completely unjustified imprisonment, I found them gone. Our culture forgotten. Any trace of the world I knew all but obliterated. I must even hide my true face beneath an ever-shifting mask for fear you savages will attack me. That is how I wander this strange world. Trying to uncover the truth about a history you primitive people never even knew existed. Oh, don't...
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared, and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry, the sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
Well now, aren't you a curious sight? If I'd had a mask to hide my bones as well as yours, maybe I'd still be walking around today. Where'd you get it? There can't be many curios like that in the world. Ha! Fresh out of the crypt, are you? No, we are abnormal. It's why we hide in the shadows. Or walk about like you still had flesh on your bones in your case. You even have yourself a silky mortal voice. How much do you think I get out? All I know is there are more like you. Well, not quite like you. But sorcerers collared on this tub, all heading to Fort Joy. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine. Still, you'd best keep that mask on. The living don't take kindly to seeing their future staring back at them.
An animal sty. Freight or food? Junk. click. This floor plate triggered something.
You there? Come here. Hey! Get me out of this cage and I'll make it worth your while. You in? Your guess is as good as mine. Someone screamed, loud as a banshee. After that, pure pandemonium. They never even told me what I was accused of. Just dragged me down here. A gentleman among jesters, you are. Give that lever a pull, and I guarantee we'll both get something out of the deal. Set me free, and I'll set you free. A fair trade, I should think.
The Magister Guard snorts and sniffles as he sleeps. You're almost impressed that one man can make such a phlegmy racket. The Magister Guard snorts and sniffles as he sleeps. You're almost impressed that one man can make such a phlegmy racket.
Is my shift over? Are you here to relieve me? Wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy scrounger? Choose your words carefully. My fists ache to meet a new face. Clever story. I almost fell for it. Almost. I should have known there'd be trouble.
So much for a peaceful stroll.
Empty. The prisoner's buoyant voice darkens as his gaze finds the sunken hollows that once held your eyes.
Ah, freedom. Tastes better than wine. I'm nothing if not a man of my word. And I did give my word I'd set you free, lad. Say your prayers while you've breath to speak them. The whole...
What would he have to gain by killing me? Strange forces are at work. And now you are silent. If only all humans were so thoughtful. And now you are silent. If only all humans were so thoughtful.
Empty. Empty.
Everything's spick and span.
In fact,
Nothing
he
left to
seemed
do,
quite
really.
averse to spending time with the others.
There you are. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. No. You're alive, and you're having a conversation. You are on a ship, of course, but luckily for us both, we're merely sailing the plain old sea.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Sauce. For good.
Good gods, there's been a murder here.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with the others.
A young Magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass. Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does.
Into this room. Or was he already here?
It's a small ship. His name was Finn. Oddball. Looked to me like he saw something he wished he hadn't before he came here. We'll find out who did it, one way or another.
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwoken followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. His own shadow and his own source. We'll find out who did this. Speaking of...
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, there wouldn't be a Magister. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you see the evidence in front of you. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that?
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice. Deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
Never say never, though.
She smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten in a corner, aren't we?
I'm busy watching for clues, sorcerer. Go take your sob story somewhere else.
A scruffy man lounges against the wall with scarred arms folded. A sly smile playing on his face, he stares across at the Magister guarding him. Noticing you, he straightens and beckons for you to come closer.
Watch your back, new fish. There's a murderer on board, and I'd bet 3 months' pay it's this tramp you found.
Rolling his eyes at the Magister's warning, the man named Ifan beckons again. He leans in and adjusts your collar with a sharp tug, balancing its weight so it no longer presses unpleasantly on your neck. He winks.
Pinches less that way, right?
Hocking a phlegmy gobbet in your general direction, the sullen Magister settles back to his task of glowering at Ifan. And now, you.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
We used to know each other, more's the pity. I was his commander many, many, many moons ago. Isn't that right, Vic?
Standing far back from Ifan, the tight-faced Magister draws one finger across his throat in an elaborate fashion, but says nothing. Ifan grins, flashing pointed white teeth.
Same as he was at 14 years old. Only difference is somebody gave him a bigger sword and now he's Johnny Big Pants. Long story. Maybe I'll tell you about it in the Joy. Away from interested parties.
Ifan performs an elaborate pantomime of keeping quiet, one finger in front of his lips as he leans back against the wall.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
Why won't you sing?
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
And of course, a cook who can't taste is about as useful as a dog in a chess game. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. A most satisfactory answer indeed. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after.
Your kind always closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Just as I thought. That explains what's besieging my nostrils. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you can tailor, but you have the taste buds of a dung beetle, and your personal hygiene reminds one of a carcass rotting in the sun. That won't do at all, see? I'm sad to say I must deny you the opportunity to be my slave. Ever so sorry.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I know, but you just don't have what it takes. A good slave's made of sterner stuff, I'm afraid. Still, hone your skills, and one day you may just qualify for a position in a lesser household than mine. You keep dreaming, you hear?
Surely.
What are you trying to hear, anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of this ship with him.
The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And?
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
The fellow cocks his ear, listening.
That isn't anger, it's...
He cocks his ear to the other side, then smiles.
There has been a murder.
anticipation. She senses something. I'd hold on to my breeches if I were you, mate. That's all you hear, though. Listen close. There now, just like that.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard.
Squeak!
I always knew you'd turn out rotten, Ben Nest.
Aha!
Your kind always hung closest to our divine.
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't...
No, indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
Come on, please, Losa. Be good, you scallywags.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't acknowledge you anymore.
Did you see the body? They ought to let you taste a bit. Maybe you'd find out who done it.
Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
If you'll be pardoning me, I'll be much obliged.
Got this wolf on a leash now.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hang you right over the side of the
Ah, there you are. Husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not-at-all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this loser woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. We just skipped to the part where I reassure you and you shut up. You think me mad?
How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we?
It was one of them. I know it. You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
You presume right.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them. I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
That right. I always knew you'd turn up rotten, Ben Nest. Your kind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a campfire.
Here to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far?
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I...
Glad to hear it. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
And I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty.
Tries to run, shoot.
Standing at the centre of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
She stole it. If these savages see me without it, they will have my skull for a goblet.
The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, greyish-black clouds swirl through them.
No.
Oh! What happened? Must have been the turnips. Water? Wine, for goodness sake! Oh!
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness. You shake the lizard by the shoulders, but you're unable to wake him up. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or dead. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's alive, but only just. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor. Ifan lies motionless, curled on the ground like an animal. Under his shaggy hair, you can see green eyes fluttering as if in a nightmare. A low whine escapes his lips. His eyes flicker open, but he doesn't register your presence at all.
Lucien. Lucien.
Ifan cries out, then his eyes fall closed again. No matter how much you shake him now, he cannot be roused.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
Her hand lies limp in yours. She's too weak to stand.
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
The elf lies motionless, her eyes staring into a... The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
God damn it! We need to get off this wreck. Quick. Damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his blade.
Another sorcerer! Like you don't know? Mutiny! Did that witch fix your collar too? Go on then. Find a place to hide and stay there.
The human's chief, Alexander. A curious name, but no more bizarre than anything else that species does.
What will happen to us?
Long before this thing snaps into splinters.
The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately for what it is, a warning of death fog within. You press your palm against the door to open it. Your fingers clack against the wood, and you suddenly feel grey. The touch leaves you numb, dull. It doesn't budge. The moment you touch the door, greyness seeps into your bones. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.
Death fog? Good thing I'm immune. Still, this means trouble.
Voidwoken.
Beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch. Glory is mine!
Let the games begin.
They who are about to triumph.
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
I've faced worse.
We make a pretty good team.
Let's not tarry. This old tub is about to burst.
You need to find a hiding place.
I hear something. It's...
There's no time.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
That was decidedly unpleasant. I'm either lone survivor. Depending on one's definition of survivor, of course. Ah, Brachus Rex. I've read his history. Quite gruesome, even for a human.
The child has a small mirror in his hands. He holds it up at angles, inspecting his eyes, his chin, the crown of his head. He spots you, and his arms snap to his sides.
I'm not supposed to talk to strangers. Why? But are you a sorcerer? One of those guys that brings the bad void things here?
The child looks at you straight on, unafraid, searching the shadows cloaking your face. He lifts his mirror to his nose, closes one eye, and looks at himself again.
I don't see any source on you or me. I guess they're wrong, or crazy. No one cares where I go. They know I can't leave the island. It's nicer out here than inside, anyway. They're gone now. The Magisters took them already. I guess now they're cured. And maybe they're waiting for me back at home. But you didn't die. Guess I am, but it's just normal to be scared. Nowhere isn't scary. There isn't anywhere safer. That's what I mean. You'll see.
Voidwoken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn. They made it to shore.
bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. Drowned and eaten by a voidwoken. I wonder in which order.
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright, blood-red colour. Could he be... Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes with his, two smouldering embers that sizzle your very soul.
I did survive, yes. And chances are I wouldn't have, had you not returned to the aid of your fellow passengers down in that dreadful hold. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that, but let's not get carried away, shall we? Now then, if there's nothing further... I'm sure I don't mean to sound condescending, but I had thought it quite self-evident I was gazing out over the waves.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? Touché.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments pass as the waves lap against your thoughts.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse before us, I see an empire. I see continents dotted with mighty cities, and shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that formed my paradise. Lost. What do you mean, what do I mean? I mean just what I say. I had a very actual empire that I lost.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? Oh, may the Seven have mercy on their own creation. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World-Tamer, the spouse of the Sun. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause, during which his grandiloquent pose deflates ever so slightly.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall have. Truly. A kind offer indeed. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. You came back for the others on that ship, after all. Fine. I accept. On one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should meet with a dreamer. one of the mystics of my kind. I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company. Jolly good. Oh, my word. How you do astound me. Come now, did you really think a handful of linen towels can fool me? But don't worry. I have studied the arcane arts for years, including necromancy and demonology. I do not hold the petty prejudices of common folks. In fact, I prefer the exceptional in all things. Your secret is safe with me. So, now that that's settled, first things first. Even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes without saying. As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Very well. Onwards, then, to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods, then gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy and contempt.
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, My Lord. As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go. So, without further ado, let us be off!
Ah, hello, small, furry creature. How do you do?
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity. Its eyes clear, and it shakes its head, confused.
Hey, mister. It's a lot nicer here than that stinking boat, huh? I'm sure glad some of the others made it out alive too. Saw one of them wringing out their tunic at the shore a few hours ago. Say hi for me. I never want to set foot on a stuffy old boat ever again. Never.
I found something.
I wonder where this leads.
Here lies a nameless inmate. May he find the peace denied him in life in the Hall of Echoes. The cat's eyes are clouded and grey. It appears confused. The cat's eyes are clouded, its eyes clear, and it...
Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I'd sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use. Cut it out.
This can't be serious, Alexander. Come!
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Stay silent, you!
Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and quickly fall to the ground. She groans.
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son, your bishop, and your friend these many years. The fate of our realm hangs in the balance. If you will not help us save it, then you will help the Void destroy it. Dallas?
Yes, Your Holiness?
I believe we're done here.
What a weight to hear. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere.
Listen. The Lizard Magister, or what's left of her, lies in a puddle of gore.
She was a lizard, yet a magister. No matter her reasons, her penalty was fair.
Come on, old man. I can't wait all day.
You hear a small whimpering sound from behind a basket. You peer behind it and find a small human child holding her knees and trembling. The child quiets and seems comforted by your presence. She looks up at you with curious eyes. A wide grin cracks across the child's face through her tears, showing two big gaps where her front teeth should be. She laughs.
Really? Yeah. Warrior Princess Coral. You're nice. You can have this. I found it outside, but I can't read it yet. That's next year, and then I'll learn it.
The child wipes her eyes and, grinning, plunks herself down on the earthen ground. She starts tracing shapes, hearts, stars, and diamonds into the dirt.
Go! Get out! You are not welcome here! Go, man-pig!
She eyes you suspiciously.
Please, please, just go.
To these turtles. They're transforming.
Prepare yourself.
I'm fading. I need aid. Happening to these turtles? They're transforming. I've spotted something. I don't have the right tool for digging.
A group of magisters circle an elf, weapons drawn. The hound barks to draw their attention.
Sir, we've got company.
Ah, planning an ambush with this scion, were you? The witch don't fool me. She's wrecked this ship by herself, with a collar on.
I tell you, I am no witch. The spores do this. If I do not find the rest...
Store the elven hedge magic. Weren't much use when we flooded your forest with death fog, were it? Lucian said it was a necessary evil. Me? I was just sorry we didn't get the lot of you.
You. I try to give you a chance. More than your divine order give mine.
Oh, sir. Her armor!
The scion twitches in sudden rage, and her armor uncoils, as if made of living vines.
No more chances.
Got a new stick for you to chew on.
bleeding.
They're transforming. Swallowed too much seawater by the looks of him.
Foolish to attempt an escape by sea in these waters.
You hear me, human? Leave!
Everything has a heart, except lizards, maybe. Maybe they do. I don't know. The waterfall has a heart made of a giant diamond, see?
You hear me, human? Leave! You hear me, human? Leave!
Everything has a heart, except lizards, maybe. Maybe they do. I don't know. The waterfall has a heart made of a giant diamond, see? Everything has a heart.
You hear me, human? Leave! You hear me?
Come on, then, Dixie. Did you see them, sir? Bishop Alexander and the Hammer herself. They were so close, almost within arm's reach. A traitor cannot be murdered. A traitor can only receive their due. The Divine Order's all that stands between everything you see and a Void Woken's throat. Any traitor to them is a traitor to us all. Believe it or don't. The Divine Order doesn't need our loyalty. They'll save us in spite of ourselves. It's time to accept reality.
The fella can't hear himself think with all this racket. Day and night she hollers after that child. You hear that, Farah? You got to cut that out. What's happened to you? Aye, she needs help, but none that I can give. Matters a cooker, that one, and twice as loud. Distraught don't even begin to cover it. She's hollering after that child of hers, killed by a void woken she was. Been dead and buried for a month now. Never even stepped foot in Fort Joy. And there ain't no amount of hollering that'll bring her back.
Please, please, you must help me. No one here will help me. Not one of these bastards. A child is missing. My baby. Irma. She's called Irma. I haven't seen her in days. I'm sick with worry. Completely sick. And no one in this damn camp will lift a finger to help me find her. I last saw her just here, near 3 days ago. She was playing with her little doll, and I was washing out her tunic. I turned from her for one moment, and she was gone. Left her doll behind, too. It's so unlike her. Yes, of course. Here, you should take it with you. When you find her, give her the doll and tell her, Mummy says this is for her little chicken, and it's time to come home. That's what I call her. My little chicken.
She soaks up a steady stream of tears with her shirt sleeve.
She ought to come with you then. She ought to follow you back to me. This place turns people cold. Cold and wicked. That fellow Jeth over there speaks unutterable evil, but I can't move away from him. What if Irma comes back and I'm not here? You are an angel. Truly you are. Irma, Mummy's right
here. I don't think I ain't watching. That's your fifth blue just.
Pipe down, Farah. It's time to accept reality.
Yeah, what of it? Ah, grab it in, you gobblers, the both of you.
If you don't like the game, Topsy, you can fold.
I'm not mad, darling. I'm not mad.
Sweetheart. Liars don't mean I can't beat ya.
She's gone, Farah. Gone!
Right hand, my winker. Fella's got more right hands than an octopus.
The woman is scrabbling at her throat, as though she can hardly breathe.
Don't touch me. You're too close. This collar, this place, it's squeezing the life from me. I can't. I can barely even catch my breath. How is it possible? 1 minute you're in the garden in the sun, the next you're here, and they've put this thing around your neck.
Her hands move again to her throat. She seems to try to make space between her neck and the collar, but there's no space to be made.
It's getting tighter. I can hardly breathe.
Fella's got more right hands than an octopus.
That's it. I call court. Pay up.
Looky here, mates. A fresh face. We love fresh faces, don't we? Oh, yes, we do. Why don't you join us in a round of cards? First hands on the house. Chuff to you, Chief. Here are your cards. You're up first.
You glance at your hand. 2 purple monarchs. A hard hand to beat.
Quite the hand, Freshie. Unfortunately, 2 is less than 5, and that's how many purples I've got. I reckon that makes me the winner. I'll be having your fee then. Blaming a bloke you just met for your misfortune, are you? Ease off, or I'll go ahead and double what you owe. Well, you've heard of it now, ain't ya? Go on then, Freshie. Turn 'em out. We'll see about that, Freshie.
Healing. I need aid.
Come on, Lexi. Hang up.
I find only bread. I want no trouble.
Bread or...
This is not your business, Long Pig.
Don't let this moss muncher talk to you like that. Especially a cheapskate like this one. Griff already knows she don't like to pay her fair share.
An intense-looking man steps between the thug and the elf and rolls up his sleeves, revealing well-muscled and heavily scarred arms. You recognize him. It's Ifan, who you met aboard the ship on the way here.
Just stand aside, won't you, mate? This is no business of yours.
Lone wolves decide their own business.
The thug freezes in fear for a moment before shuffling back to the protection of his crony.
Pay up, elf. No one shorts griff, especially not one of you.
Burrow looks you both up and down, sizing up your combined threat.
Ah, get out of here. The both of you. You ain't worth a sweat on my brow anyhow.
The elf smiles and bows to you in thanks.
Follow me, before more of them trouble us. There is a safe place.
Dallas, you maniac.
Ah, a little reprieve from the din outside.
You are in the wrong place, Pinky. Fear? Pity, perhaps. A blind wolf may lead the pack, but sooner or later they will all starve. Never mind. If you need to suit up, I can offer you a fair price. If not, I would thank you to move on.
Thank you for your help with that, thug. Rare is the human who goes against their own for an elf.
The elf appears momentarily puzzled by your comment, but then offers you a dignified little bow.
As far as I'm concerned, you are noble and just in both actions and appearance. I am in your debt. It gives me great pain. I'm with my family. We are making beautiful magic. We are healing a tree cut down with great violence. The Magisters come. My family runs, but I fall. My son looks back. I shout to him to run. I am taken. In this cave, we trust the healer. She is young, but she sees. She knows more than we know. In the camp, the brute Griff rules. He who gives the bread has the power. I hear of no escapes. The only way out is through the Magisters, through their cure. Thugs I can stand, but I fear the Magisters. Wait, before you go, I am not here without your help. I do not forget this. For you, a prize. I save it for a special occasion, but I can think of no finer occasion than this. Thank you.
I feel him, but I do not see him. Shua! 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 Got you!
The young girl's eyes are covered, but she turns toward you when you approach. She smiles as though she recognizes you, though she couldn't have seen your face.
Hello, stranger. A strange person from a strange time. I wonder, do you even know how lost you are? I see it before my eyes. It is not so bad. I know which days have bread and which days have none. I know more bread comes someday. It helps.
Her eyebrows shoot up.
There can be a way. Amiro knows. But he is gone. Do you see him? He knows how to leave. My protector, my friend, an elf like me, with a spirit bright as new leaves. He tries to help me, to save me, and he suffers very much. He is caught by those who hurt him. I wish so much for his return. And he tells you what you seek, a way out. You bring me great peace. Thank you, my friend. I miss him very much. I see something that helps. I see a lizard. He is a lizard of many dreams, of far feeling. You do not free Amiro without him. Yes, please ask. Oh, I do not cover my eyes. I cover the place they used to be. They are gone now, taken, but I see all the same. He is a very blind man. He sees things but not truth, not love or joy. I feel very sorry for him. You understand when you meet him after you escape. It is safer here. We make no trouble for Griff. He makes no trouble for us. My home is far. Your language gives me some trouble. We elves... Time, for us, is now. There is not then and when. I knew we must be here. I am not sure how much to explain. You are here, and so we are here. I feel him, but I do not...
I got you! You can't get me! Whack! Back, evil ogre, or I'll get you with my sword! I'll spare you this time, beast, but don't cross me again! Ever! You're really fun. Hey, I'm gonna hide somewhere in the cave, and you come find me. Ready? Go!
Ugh, a human? You stink. No. I'm a lizard. I just didn't grow my scales yet. Yes, you were. Now get human.
You found me! Okay, wait. Let me hide again. Ready? Go! Ooh! Wow! You're really smart. I bet. You know what? I'll introduce you. I know how to spell introduce. It's I-N-T-R-O-D-U-C-E. My way is too small for you. You'll have to find another. Hope you brought a shovel.
I've spotted something.
No one tells me there are so many children in this Fort Joy. Your kind I handle, but small ones. Stay in this cave a while longer. Provoke Modi, the wild one who runs like his clothes catch fire. I see how you feel then.
The soldier tightens his grip on his spear and looks past you.
The Red Demon. The exiled pig. I'd heard they'd sent you here, but I'd hoped you'd have drowned yourself before crossing my path.
The soldier looks at you hard, his grip tensing around his spear.
No, I suppose the Red Prince is rather taller, isn't he? You're positively stunted. Sorry for the mix-up. House? So it is you after all. Demon. Pig! Get out of my sight before I report you to a magister for whatever strikes my fancy. No one here will defend you.
Amid the squalor of Fort Joy, you suddenly spot an elf with diamond features, regal and radiant, but cold too, and sharper than any knife. She was the one who sat rolling dice in the ship that went under, deciding fates with every roll, or so she said. Her eyes are focused on a lizard some distance away, and you get the distinct feeling he's an unfortunate man indeed to be trapped in her tiger-like gaze. No sooner have these words left your mouth than she turns about and grabs you in a stranglehold. You feel the tip of a long needle being pushed a little ways into one of your neck's vertebrae.
You caught me off guard. No one catches me off guard. Better tell me who you really are, so I can decide your fate here and now. I see. It does so satisfy to have a purpose in life.
A push, a pivot, and now you suddenly face her, the needle still all too deeply embedded in bone. Despite the precariousness of your situation, you notice something that remained undetected in the gloom of the ship. A flaw in her diamond features. A curiously shaped scar on her left cheek.
Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a bad old time, a lizard cut this thing, this living scar, into my cheek. The mark of a slave. But now I'm free, of sorts. And I've traced that lizard here, to Fort Joy. I intend to raise the subject with him. No!
She drives the needle in deeper and whispers.
In truth, it does not matter in the least who you really are. You saw me mark my prey. You could warn him, save him, or kill him before I get my chance. That makes you a liability. That makes you needle feed.
A bright sparkle of laughter follows your proposal.
Ha! How amusing. I admit I had not seen that twist coming. I was certain the pitiful begging was about to begin. Make your case and do it quickly. Why should I join you? Escape? How you do tickle me. Most of the misguided deers around here would argue such a thing is impossible. Well played. Oh, little needle mine, what should I do? Push or pull? The agony of choice. You know what? Today is a rather fine day. Sunshine and an easy breeze. Yes, I'll let you live. I'll even agree to travel with you, provided we talk to that lizard I mentioned. I'm not quite sure the weather will save him.
With a casual flick of the wrist, she withdraws the needle from your neck and smiles, as if she just invited you to sit down for tea.
Yes, the needle did find you rather tough to chew. Nothing it can't handle, though, nor finish. This may strike you as, rather eccentric, but the thought of traveling with one such as yourself quite enthuses me.
She tilts her head ever so slightly and looks at you almost mockingly. You can't help but contemplate with both dread and delight the absolute darkness at the heart of her cat's eyes.
Yes, this will be jolly good fun. Let's discuss our respective roles then, shall we? You, me, and Death will be playing many a round of hide and seek. So, what role would you like me to play? As a rogue, my speciality is stealth, the quick silence of the dagger striking unseen. That said, I'm perfectly lethal wielding any weapon or magic. So, the choice is yours. Suits me fine. Lead on, or better yet, let me take the lead. Then follow me.
You're not quite certain you'll ever sleep soundly with Sabine in any sort of proximity, but at least she's on your side. for the moment. The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with acute intensity. Its eyes clear, and it shakes its head, confused.
So, this is Fort Joy.
Surely you'll have one.
What a crumbling disaster.
Scrap.
Leave him be. Don't make me say it again. Listen, I can help you if you just...
Shut up, elf.
This clown, caught him stealing from my kitchen. Still won't say where he stashed my supplies. Sound like someone you'd let off with a slap on the wrist. Supplies. Crate of food, citrus in particular. He'll talk, or he'll die quiet. All I want is my supplies. Happy to let this clown die in a gutter instead of my kitchen. Bring back my crate, and you got yourself a deal.
An elf, caked in mud and blood, looks up at you from the bottom of the cage. He holds his shoulder at a strange angle. Despite his condition, he appears eager for your attention.
You believe what he says? That I am a thief?
He perks up and wipes his face with his good hand.
Sahela, you speak to her? She is all right then. Good. Huh. She sees my trouble, of course. She already knows. And she knows I help you out of here in exchange. I am grateful. Your freedom for mine. A good deal. I see no one. In fact, I only hear the sound of Griff clearing his throat. You know how he does? Like so. For some time, I think Griff takes his own supplies. But I see the anger in him that he does not find it. He truly does not find what he seeks. Griff is a powerful man. Power is mysterious, in case you haven't noticed. I intend no harm. I want only some provisions. A bit of bread, a potato or two. Nothing Griff should be loath to give. I need to escape, and I have people to consider. You understand? Thank you. And hurry. Please.
Don't tell anyone where you got this, eh?
Take your coin, then.
Hey! You're a little light in your pack, ain't you, mate? Who can blame you with the garbage they got for sale round here? Why don't you take a gander at the goodies I got? Stuff you won't find anywhere else in camp. Procured by special means.
Perhaps if those bleeding dwarves didn't eat so much.
Fella in that cage is the thief. Stashed the oranges somewhere before he was caught. If you believe that. Sure do. Ask me, it'd have to be one of those sad sacks that's always hanging around Griff looking for favours.
She darts her tongue out of her mouth like a snake.
Some folks, and some reptiles, will do anything to get his attention. I see plenty of liars in my line of work. Snakes, weasels, worms. That fella's square as a pavestone. If he's the thief, I'll eat my boots.
Fit for beasts.
Sure do. Ask me, it'd have to be one of those sad...
She darts her tongue out of her mouth.
Some folks, I see plenty of liars in my line of work. Snakes, weasels, worms. It's all in the eyes. Joy lives in the eyes, sometimes way in the back, but it's there all the same. Liars ain't a joyful bunch. Sure you don't want to have a look at my stock before you go? Need something in the kitchen? Heading into the kitchen? Don't try anything funny around, Griff. I'm watching you. Ha! Cheeky. What's your name? All right, Slick. I haven't seen you around here before. Did you get in? All right, easy now. You seem sweet, but I'm more curious about you than a bunch of cheesy lines. Ha! Thank you. You mean it? Or is that another line of yours? I used to play the harp, you know. Mostly around Arcs, although sometimes we'd travel down to Driftwood. Might be you saw one of my performances.
Ain't fit for beasts.
You think? I was raised by the whip, and I'm not afraid to use one either, especially not in here. Joining up with Griff's the closest thing you can get to security around here. Family, too. Till the Reds take you, anyway.
Ain't fit for beasts.
There's a gap between what we want and what we can have, isn't there? Here more than anywhere else.
Worse than war rations, these.
She looks into your eyes and smiles impishly, then gently takes your hand between both of hers and squeezes.
Worse than war
How
rations.
very right you are. Look, I have an idea. I know we don't know each other very well, but time is so short and a connection is so rare. If we get out of here, will you meet me again in Arcs?
She leans forward and grazes your cheek with her lips.
Until then.
Worse than war rations, these.
I know you.
Losa, the dark-eyed jokester you met aboard the ship, waves enthusiastically and dips into a mock elegant curtsy.
Back then I was Madame Josephine Gribbles de Pube. And you were... you. Glad to see you made it. Nothing like a nice tentacle slap across the moor to set the tone for the week, eh? How'd you escape? I saw you fall. We all did. Thought you were done for. When we get out of this place, I owe you a pint. So you managed to swim to safety, is that it? What about when you were in the water? Didn't hear anything unusual, did you? I heard the same thing! Do you know what this means? It means I'm not the only...
Losa's voice catches in her throat. The joy drains from her face. Her eyes lose focus, and her whole body goes rigid. She is stock-still, waxy-skinned, her eyes dark. Greyish-black veins run from her eyes down her cheeks. Her head snaps to you mechanically, and her eyes lock with yours, dark pupils dilated into great black voids. Light suddenly flashes back into her face. The grey veins drain to pinkish flesh, and her whole body relaxes.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Ah, it's nothing really. It's just... I'm just a bit... well, a bit... hospitable? Put it like this. You've never been a host, I bet. That's because you're an infested clump of leaves on the side of the road. That ain't bad, though. I'd give just about anything to be like you. But I'm a roadside inn. Red door, flowers out front, friendly lady at the door beckoning you in for half price. Like a goddamn gold star inn for the disembodied. Feels like just one, strangely enough. Big one, though. Don't know its name yet, either. It takes time for them to get comfortable and introduce themselves. So, how are you enjoying the joy? Yeah? I was just thinking the same sort of thing. So, you want to check this place out together? Strength in numbers and all that. It does, right? Before we head out, I've got more than a few tricks up my sleeve, so you'll have to pick which one I'll pull out if... when push comes to shove. Lately I've been into the enchanting arts, but I can shoot, slash, summon, steal, whatever your little black heart desires. So, what'll it be? Sounds fine. So, we're good to go? Yeah? Well, that was easier than I thought, and I'll do my best to stay myself. Lead the way. Well, no, or I wouldn't have joined up with you, would I? Don't worry. I'm sure your get-up will fool most people hook, line and sinker. I'm sensitive. Knew who you were the moment you rolled up. So don't worry, and lead the way, your deadliness.
You there. You've just arrived, isn't that right? Are you quite alone? It's just, I've a proposition. Something very worth knowing. But it's hardly a group affair. I only need one. Oh, noble. But after the Magisters take you all, your nobility will have been for nothing. Good luck with your friends, though. Enjoy your last days in good company, won't you?
The lizard's brow knits together, then apart, and back again. He seems to be swimming deep in his thoughts, and doesn't look up as you approach.
The ground? I don't know what you... I'm just trying to work it out. What happened? Why? My mind? What else, my friend? I'm wondering why. All of this. Source, the Voidwoken, the Divine. Why? Naturally. How could one not? We've used Source for thousands of years. We have used it to heal, to grow. How can it be that it suddenly summons these horrors from the void? And when will Alexander ascend to divinity? We cannot continue like this.
I won't say it again. Come on, chap. Don't be unreasonable. Better even to puke yourself to death than get purged, don't you think? You should be happy for greed.
What did you say?
That's what happened, isn't it?
Bleeding snake.
Now, let's not get nasty. Greed's better off, I'm sure.
Keep her name out your mouth, how about?
Easy now, old chap. It isn't my fault she's dead. Gods. The smell, though.
I'm gonna give...
Please, excuse us.
You're talking to me, not him, Sam.
Oh, for the love of Lucian, Balladeer. You're acting like a madman.
Say it again. What you said about my wife. Go on. Piss off. Go on, Sam.
Well, it's the truth, and you know it. She's better off. So what if it was messy? I'd rather puke myself to death 1,000 times than let the Reds get to me. If she were my wife, I'd be happy for her.
A flat smile twitches across Balladeer's lips.
She never did like you. Bastard.
The man looks for a moment at the corpse at his feet, then turns back toward the nearly finished coffin, bloodied hammer in hand.
Don't feel too bad. Fella had no decency. If you don't have that, you don't have anything to live for.
He nods at you and turns back to his handiwork. He lines up another nail and hammers it into the panel.
Ha! I found you, didn't I? Red, they said. Red, then dead. Them that pay the bills, of course. I'll be a rich man when you're 6 feet under. Time's up, Your Highness. Let's dance. It's stabbing time.
Focus!
I'll yield to none.
To none. Show yourself! I'm fading!
Their frightful manners I mind the most, really.
I need aid! Healing!
Pretty.